Hello, and welcome back to the Coop De Villa channel. I'm Noah Fisher, and a full crew here tonight. Got Tommy, Aman, and Scott here to talk about Aston Villa's thrashing, in my opinion, of Tottenham Hotspur away from home. And it's all coming to you guys after this.
Okay, so welcome back for a new year. It's 2023. I apologize. My voice is really wrecked. I'm feeling a bit sick, but we soldier on, just like Villa have soldiered on. They've gone down to London. Aman, I'll start with you because we haven't seen you for a few weeks. What a game. Emery masterclass. He set up with the 6-2-2 attacking formation and got the job done. What were your thoughts?
When I first started watching the first half and saw Buendia playing left wing back or left back on the wing, whatever you want to call it, I was like, oh, what's going on here? But I think it took me like about 5 or 10 minutes to realize, like, obviously we dropped points against Liverpool where we probably should have, I reckon, maybe picked up a point. And, playing away from home against Tottenham, let's take a point, let's sit back, let's just pick our moments to attack type of thing. And it, like you said, it's clear what they were working on in the break, defensively sound, which I think is very important. If we had only come away with that in that game with 1 point, I would have been happy as well. 1 point away from home against Spurs. But, I think it was just the whole thing of let's make ourselves hard to beat and let's pick our moments to attack. And that's exactly what happened in the second half. So, yeah, great tactical masterclass from Emery. And we saw what he could do with all the subs, and I think there's more to come. We're not just going to see this style of play from him. I think we're going to see a ever evolving, ever changing Aston Villa squad that's just going to adapt to moments in the game.
That's it, Tommy. Great result. And a result that we wouldn't have got under Gerrard. I feel as if this is really Emery's doing. He's obviously gone there with a clear plan. The team's followed it. And we didn't park the bus. Once we got the ball, we looked to keep it. We looked to get forward. But with that sort of solid foundation, it made us hard to beat.
Before we give Gerrard any slack, I'd certainly like to thank him for Boubacar Kamara as his parting gift. I think he's the best player for his age in the world right now. So based on age in CDM, purely on age, not position.
Okay,
the best in the world right now. Again. I'm sure we're gonna have all the Spurs fans be like, "Oh, you don't know anything." But what a masterclass! I said I watched the full replay twice today, plus last night as well. I think I was actually know a bit of a stat. I didn't get the exact seconds, but it was about 90 minutes, 30-something seconds. Harry Kane hadn't touched the ball, and I think that's great by the Villa team. Kamara, a rock in defense. I don't do my votes, but. I can't honestly give a vote to anyone. It's probably Dougie, 3 and Kamara 2, and could even argue to swap them around despite Dougie's goals. But what a different team, right? I mean, it's the same players, just different mentality. We're pressing Tottenham in their own third, and I mean, there was probably a time where we probably could have got a third one. Ollie gets a bit of slack up front, but I think his hard work definitely doesn't go unnoticed now. As long as the team's winning, I think he understands his contribution to the team. You kind of see like Jesus with Arsenal, he wasn't scoring for a certain little patch, and everyone goes, "No, you have no idea what he does for the team." No, the team's better with him in it than out. It was great to see Coutinho come, a little cameo as well. I think he looked really good. If we can maybe get Emery to, just get the best out of him, maybe he might actually decide to stay. I've seen, rumors linked with him, I think Corinthians or somewhere in Brazil. So. Yeah, I loved when Dougie, scored and he went to Coutinho and like a little brother hug. And I think there's a lot of unity in this team. Emery's just a tactical junkie. Not only does he set up and we approach each game with different tactics, right? Normally it's just, this is our default formation. This is what we're going to go with, maybe a couple tactics. I think he genuinely sets up before every game. And then even more impressive, it's probably the first manager in Villa history, I don't know, that can just change it up mid-game, react in real time, make those 2-3 subs. Chambers went in CDM. I thought he was actually awesome with Kamara at one point when they came together. So many positives. I'm just going to let someone else do some talking. I could go on all night.
Well, no, you can be that person that can continue the talking. And like Tommy said, the changes in game were amazing. We sort of grew with confidence and getting to halftime 0-0. we just came out in that second half, a team that looked like they had all the belief in the world.
I mean, exactly that. And thanks, Tommy, for letting me speak. Really appreciate it, mate. But yeah, as you said, the changes in game were remarkable. The way we can adapt from playing 6-7 at the back and then just everyone spring forward is just remarkable. Like McGinn and Buendia, they were working harder than most players on the pitch, like running up and down that wing pretty much all game. But Tottenham didn't really press us that much. Like they didn't care that we had the ball at their house. You know, we had 59% possession away from home in the first half, which is absolutely crazy. Keeping a world-class player like Harry Kane to no touches for the first 20 minutes. I mean, he had one header that Ashley Young cleared off the line in the first half. But I will say, for about the last 15 minutes of the first half, I thought they were going to score.
Yeah.
I thought, here it comes, all our hard work going to be undone, and Tottenham will go in with a goal up and just be honestly just typical Villa. But the way we hung on, we grit and we grind. Mings and Konsa looks like he's back to his best, in my opinion. I'm not sure if it's because he's playing his boyhood club in Spurs and wants to prove a point to him or not. But
I think because Carlos is probably nearing a return. That's probably
February, I think. I heard.
That's a good point.
He's back.
Yeah.
But not only that, like just everyone looks like they want to play for the shirt. Ashley Young throwing his 37-year-old body onto everything. Yeah. Everything. And he's just pure class. And then, the first half performance gave us that springboard to come and start attacking in the second half. Quickly touching on what Tommy said, the rumors about Coutinho, he actually touched on it on Instagram a couple of days ago, pretty much saying it's not true. He never wanted to leave the club and he's now back from injury. So Coutinho's all in on Emery ball.
Awesome. Who would have thought, rewinding back a couple of years, that we'd have players like Coutinho struggling to make the starting 11? We'd have a manager that's actually won some stuff as a manager, not as a player. It's great that we get all these ex-players and I think makeshift managers. But I think Emery's, I'm still surprised that we got him, honestly. Not that I'd say it's a step down, but where the club was when he joined, I think it probably was at the time.
Yeah, and the most exciting thing for me is this team could look even better at the end of January. We're going into January now in the transfer window. He's obviously going to pick up maybe one or two players, but he's made the players we've got better already. And if he brings in just one or two, we could have a really good second half of the season.
Yeah. Emery likes high growth, high return play, so he's not going to go and sign your early 30s, late 20s players. He wants someone where there's return on investment, but also just a lot of opportunity to grow. I think McGinn is literally the not scapegoat, but he's exhibit A right now under Emery. He looks a completely different player, back to his best. And literally McGinn with that assist to Dougie.
Oh, that was beautiful ball. And the big news before the game, Aman, was the fact that Martinez and Cash were on the bench, still haven't recovered from the World Cup, even though that was, weeks ago now. I don't really understand that, and I was a little bit sort of underwhelmed when I saw the lineup and I saw that Olsen was in there, and I was a little bit worried, but he had a great game. I got to tip my hat to him.
Yeah, I think with the Cash situation, it's interesting because he obviously came back before Martinez did, but Young's done no wrong and he's got no reason to be dropped, right? Like he's 37 years old, doesn't matter. He's playing like he's 17, 18, 20 years old or whatever it is, like that. So Cash is going to have to work hard to get back into the team, and it's Ashley Young's spot to lose. With regards to Olsen, I think I was one of the many, and like other people on the Facebook post in our Villa Australia group that was like, "Oh, what's going on here?" Because like I said, if Emmy's good enough to be on the bench, I see him as good enough to start, because if Olsen goes down the first 5 minutes, he's going to have to come on, right? No one else is going to play keeper, but. Hats off to Robin Olsen. He did have that one shaky moment when Harry Kane sort of almost ghosted in on him. But I think he sort of maybe just decided to take the pressure off himself. However, we did somehow was, collecting crosses, coming out from crosses where normally in other games he'd just like stay on his line. I think also he didn't try and overplay from out of the, from the back. Like if the pass was on, he'd give it, and if not, he'd just go long. Like he wouldn't try and like hit that mid through ball to the fullback, whatever it is. It was either short to Konsa and Mings or just pump it long. And then when he did get confident, then he was trying to hit that fullback over the top. So, I've been reading things that potentially Martinez might not even play against Wolves. So, we won, we kept a clean sheet. If the same squad goes in, you go back to manager, and hopefully that Olsen can back up his performance again. But I was like thinking of it this morning, like if we go to Wolves and get another clean sheet and win there, and then you can't drop him again after that, and it'll be I wouldn't be able to think of an example where you've got a World Cup winning goalkeeper that's come back to their clubs that can't
I think
get back into the squad.
Olsen's reflexes are great, but I think it was that other little, the 1% mistakes like Mings, that's usually like sometimes he'll come out too far or whatever it is. I felt like he just nailed the basics, and then he's actually a quality keeper when it comes to reflexes and other, attributes. So I think, I don't know. If Martinez goes, can you really say no? I have a feeling he's already told Emery. Like if I saw some rumors circulate on some pages and forums just saying, I think he said if a big club comes in, he's gone. What's he worth? Just
he won't leave in January. Maybe potentially at the end of the season.
I reckon he's worth 60 mil, 70 mil.
I think that's fair. I think that's pretty fair. No, I think he's probably the best keeper on the planet right now.
He's up there. He's got to be up there.
Who's better? Who's better?
Well,
he's certainly the best when it comes to penalties, I would say.
Well, his first season for Villa was unreal, and then I think the whole Gerrard debacle had nothing to do with him. I think the whole team was.
He's certainly one of the best, and he's a huge part of the team. But if he has to go, well, I'm sure Emery will bring someone in, or we'll be able to cover it. But the other guy, Noah, I want to talk about that got a lot of flack against Liverpool was Ollie Watkins for missing those chances that he did. And I thought he had a brilliant game. I thought he worked really hard. He outmuscled the centre backs from Spurs. They all got booked early. That came from a lot of his hard work. And of course, he set up the goal for Buendia after the mistake from Luiz. And he was really smart and really quick to get onto that one.
I mean, the centre forward's always going to get flack if they're not scoring goals. And unfortunately for Watkins, that's one thing he's been lacking is his finishing ability, which is obviously letting him down. I think we spoke about in the Liverpool podcast. If he could finish at like one extra chance a game, he's getting 25 goals a season, 20 goals a season. Unfortunately, that's not his game. He's getting better. I would have to say he's getting better, but for some reason, he always seems to score the harder chance out of the lot in these games. But with his work rate, no striker in the Premier League, in my opinion, works harder than Ollie Watkins in a game. Like his pressure, his running ability, he's for a smallish guy, like compared to other Premier League strikers, he's very strong and very good at winning the ball back. He's kind of like McGinn in that way, just holds people off. But I think he said in his post-game interview, like he was going to have a shot, but realized it was too tight, and then heard Buendia calling for it. And that's just great thing from a striker, because a lot of people would take that shot on. And if he misses, it's like, oh, seriously, Watkins, what are you doing? What are you doing? But he takes the time, he finds Buendia, and honestly, just Lloris assists. I don't know what was going through his mind, but someone's got to let him know that the last 4 goals he's conceded have been from Argentina players.
That's right. I know. Us England fans are wishing why he didn't do that in the quarterfinal, but
I did notice when Buendia scored this, and then he's pulled away from the group. It didn't look hostile, but then he's pushed Ollie and high-fived him, whatever. So something must have been positive words, obviously. Then he gave Ollie a big hug. I thought that was really great. Ollie doesn't always celebrate when the other players score. I don't know if that's just been a common denominator across the season with him, but
he does it all the time. If he doesn't score, he doesn't he's not.
Yeah, he's very one-man band kind of thing, right? And don't get me wrong, every player's probably putting himself on a pedestal to go somewhere big at some point. I get it; he might be frustrated. I did see something that I do believe that Emery. I still think Emery might bring in a very clinical forward. I've seen us link that Dan Juma from Villarreal. Emery seems to really rate him high, and again, great work rate. And they're saying about potentially pushing Ollie out wide, probably into Bailey's spot. I thought Bailey was not the worst player, but I just don't think we saw a whole lot out of him.
No, it wasn't his best game.
No.
The thing is, Dan Juma plays the Bailey role in the Emery system.
I have no idea. I'm just kind of...
Normally he has a big-ish striker like a Jared Moreno, and it has a smaller, faster forward, which would be Leon Bailey in this situation. So if you're going to bring someone in my opinion, it would have to be to replace Watkins. I don't think we'll go for a forward this summer.
I don't know. I think Emery's got a lot of X factor about him.
He does, but why would you go for a forward right now when you still have
centre backs? centre backs because Bednarek, I think Southampton want to recall him, if I'm correct.
I reckon you go for a centre back, and I reckon you go for a ball winning midfielder. I
Yeah.
heard seen his link with DePaul from Atletico. That'd be an incredible signing.
That'd be unreal.
And I think we'll get Pau Torres. They're the two I reckon we'll get in.
Yeah, and I mean, like, are you complaining? I'd rather sign 2 superstars than 5 mediocre players, and maybe only one turns out to be good, even though they want to.
Well, look for example, look what Forest have done. They signed 18 blokes for 200 million, and they're all bang average, and they're going to go down. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful with who you buy.
I agree. I found it funny with Martinez. He put a tweet about like, this is my club. The only 2 other people that have posted this are Fabian Delph and Jack Grealish. So, Villa legends at the time, but just a lot of turmoil post Villa.
Yeah, those tweets came back to sort of haunt those 2 individuals. But I think Emmy probably owes us a bit more maybe than your average player, because if it wasn't for Dean Smith, he probably wouldn't have won that World Cup.
Exactly that. But I think goalkeepers are more loyal, Scott. I think that they have a little bit more time for their clubs. I mean, look at certain keepers. I don't know. Lloris has been there for a long time. Kasper Schmeichel repaid the faith that the Leicester put into him. Keepers are normally pretty good. They're normally pretty good.
What more do you need to go and achieve? You've won the freaking World Cup. I get,
Exactly. I think in Martinez's mind, he's achieved football, what he wants to do. He said, was it the Ben Foster interview? He said he wants to get a cap. He said he wanted to win a tournament, which is the Copa America. He said he wants to play at the World Cup, and he's won it. I think that Martinez is just such a level-headed guy that I don't think he'll leave Villa on his own merit. I think he'll either get
as much as I love him, he seems like a bit of a bloody weird unit. I'll tell you that. He's got his psychologist and all this stuff, and my God.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. What do you guys think about the shithousery, the mind games, the celebrating with a doll with Mbappe's face on it? That do you think when he comes back to Villa and he starts playing again, that could kind of backfire? Because we're not in Argentina. We're not going for the top trophies. We're gonna lose some games, and other players might, I don't know, have an extra bit of spark because it's Martinez. Do you think that could be an issue? Anyone?
I don't think it should be. Like, the guy's won the World Cup. He's won the World Cup. Like, it's not as if he was a second choice goalkeeper and he's carrying on or whatever it is. He was, he was the guy. He saved the penalties. Like, and you're not telling me that if France won the World Cup, they wouldn't be having dolls of Messi or whatever on a bus, or about him or whatever it is like that. And
could there be a training ground bust up between Kamara and Emmy? Or DA and Emmy?
Yeah, but like, I think he's won the World Cup. It's not like he's gone and said racist things or homophobic things or done something illegal or whatever it is like that. He was just taking the piss, having a bit of banter. I think to be a professional footballer, you're gonna have thick skin, and if Mbappe's having a sook about it, well, get over it, mate.
If anything, I'd probably say Mbappe's got a worse temperament than Martinez. That's for sure. With the whole Real Madrid saga that was going on.
I agree. I love it, and but I think he will tone it down a little bit when he comes here, just because it's a different situation.
Emery didn't like it at all. I think he said that in an interview. He's going to talk to him about it.
Okay.
But as Aman said, I think
could that be the reason why he didn't start yesterday? No,
I don't reckon.
I think he got back. He looks like he needs a nap. Honestly,
he does. But the thing is, normally he's come back less than 24 hours and played for Villa. But this guy's been on like a 7-day bender. He's been drinking that much piss and not sleeping. I think he deserves another. Like, he only arrived back in Birmingham a day late, by the way, I think. So I think he got back Thursday for us. So was that Wednesday?
Right.
So he barely had any time to train. He barely
back. I think Emery said, look, you missed the day. Take the rest of the week off, whatever, Emmy. You're going to sit on the bench in case we need you.
Yeah, I think it's smart.
I think he'll still probably go with Olsen. I don't know if anyone's seen our next 4 fixtures. I'm not calling him shit at teams, but I mean, it's Wolves, Leeds, and it's either Leicester or Southampton.
It's Southampton and Leicester, yeah, and then the worst team of the lot, Man City.
And we got the FA Cup game in there as well. So we've got a good period where we can build and we can hopefully start to get some consistency.
Yep. This has always been Villa, right? We've done it with Dean Smith in that miracle season. We beat the big teams, then come these little teams. It's like you lose one, you draw one, and just like this decline. But look, Emery,
Steven Gerrard never beat the big teams once. Not one.
Smith. I said Dean Smith. Just so
I
you know.
know. I'm just saying
Steven Gerrard doesn't count.
it's better than it was. You know, think about 2022 and when we were all up at Brisbane together, and all the sort of excitement then about Gerrard and about where we could go, about Kamara and Carlos, and all these signings, and then it went pretty bad pretty quickly. But I think now it's all seemed to be turning for the best.
We beat Leeds on a penalty in Brisbane, so I wouldn't
And
say
we even missed a penalty as well. And Watkins
I
missed
agree,
the
right?
one.
I agree.
I think the main thing is, and the good thing is, we've had the World Cup break. Like, you can't underestimate how key that is for us. And it's, I don't know if it's a good thing to say that we didn't have a lot of World Cup, because that shows that we don't have potentially that many good players. But I think, like, having the bulk of the squad, being able to be with the new coach, together, just like a mini preseason, like, that's going to be so helpful for us. And yeah, hopefully that will allow us to have some kind of consistency on. Because I think if we didn't have the World Cup break, like, it would be very tough for a new manager to come in. Someone like Emery, who's very like tactic focused, drill down to the thing. You're gonna be stand like 1 meter from this guy, press when this guy kicks it with his right foot, whatever it is like that. I think the fact we've had that now will mean that hopefully these guys, all right, I know what I need to do. I know what the triggers are when we're out there, and we'll just be hopefully we'll be consistent across the games that we have across, regardless who we play. If we play City, if we play Nottingham, if we play Newcastle, whoever. So, yeah, I reckon like World Cup break was like super good for us.
I think Emery said it. A lot of work to do, and I think he meant it, and that probably takes weeks to implement. Let's be real, right? So, look, it seems like everyone's bought into his philosophy and his system. So, I'm excited, man. Honestly, like you think about managers, as a player, but again, like what Emery's achieved as a coach, like he's done great things. Like, we've really got the guy in, probably too good for Villa at the time. So,
I know when Gerrard came in, I was hyped. Like, we won our first two, but this is different. Like, we're actually changing tactics mid-game, and we're developing to the situation of the game. Like, even when Tottenham made their subs, we would have changed how we're going to approach the game. Like, it's just, I've never seen a manager like it. And I think you sent a video, Tommy, to our group chat today of Emery, and he's just a nut. He's just a nut, like a football nut.
In training, how intense he is.
Like, he's just a nut.
He's running. He's not even in possession. He's just running with the team like a nut.
But I think that's what you got to do. And there's a difference, I guess, between telling people what to do and then showing them what to do. And he's a manager that shows them what he wants done. And he would have people in the viewing room with tape. Like, he would have been pissed off that we lost to Liverpool. Although there was heaps of positives, Emery hates to lose.
Oh, man. Did you celebrate when we won? Just that genuine passion. He didn't know who to run to, by the way. He just kept running in a couple circles. I found it funny.
I will say, by the way, how good of I think every single player went to the away fans, because they were unbelievable. At Tottenham, unbelievable. And Emery,
on all the YouTube little Villa snippets, he actually always thanks the fans first, and I love that.
He does.
Club's nothing without its fans. They don't buy tickets. We don't have an atmosphere at Villa Park, and we've got some wild fans, and I hope we can start getting some more bums on seats. I'm sure it'll be sold out more often. But just going back to Gerrard, Noah, I don't want to touch on it, but going on a little run in Europa League and then the SPL versus actually winning 3 consecutive Europa Leagues with Sevilla. It's not like he went in there. We are Real Madrid, right? He kind of built that team. He had Lucas Campos, a really good, established squad. So I don't know. This guy just comes in with such a good coaching pedigree. He's like, this is my resume. I think he was head and shoulders above all the rest. I think he would have been. I don't know if we were going in for Poch, but I feel like Emery's done a lot more, and
he's achieved more in the game.
That's right. I'm lucky with PSG, but that's not an easy team to manage for Emery, unfortunately. Maybe in 10 years' time, or hopefully still at Villa then. But I think it was a big step at the time.
But I think the difference between like PSG and like a Sevilla, for example, is all the spotlights on you at those clubs. You could lose. Like, for example, look at Graham Potter. He's been there for 5 months, and he's under so much pressure. But I think kind of like this, like, not like the big 6, the top 6. You kind of fly under the radar a bit more.
100%.
Yeah, and just as long as you're seeing improvement for a club like Villa, if the result, I mean, we all looked at the Liverpool game and went, okay, we lost, but if we had scored those chances, we would have got something from the game. And defensively, we were a little bit open, a little bit loose at times, but that's going to come and that's going to improve. We can see that, and we saw it against Spurs. And I think, like you were saying about intense managers that are very sort of, all over the place and very enigmatic, the players, they'll take that from a manager if he's got a CV behind him, if he's got a proven record. And I think,
Believe.
that's
gotta
it.
How quick they believe it. And I think a lot of neutral fans, you go on the Villa official page, all
Yeah.
these fans so glad to see Emery succeeding in the Prem again. What happened, even in Arsenal, everyone's like, we loved him, but just was more circumstance than lack of being a good
Yeah,
manager.
exactly. But I think I'm not sure if it was either Simon Lyons or Max Stokes that said that they were at Bodymore Heath, and Gerrard just stands there not doing much with the training.
Well, that's because he had 5 people, right? Emery's the man doing it all.
Exactly.
Transfers.
That's the difference. That's the difference. You know what I mean?
Taking ownership and authority. So if something goes wrong, Gerrard's always blaming others. I think I saw a comment. He said something like, "Oh, we're probably going to get thrashed by Chelsea when we played them once."
That's right. He said they should be digging the forwards or something. They should be killing us. Or like
that's what I said, right? And I said, he's not afraid to go to Storm with the horns, man. I love it.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's good. Good time to be a Villa fan.
100%. And the 6 at the back, if that goes wrong, you get slaughtered, right? The fans, the media, they're going to come after you. But, he does it in certain moments in the game. I mean, we had Glenn Hoddle before the match here in Australia saying, he won't start the game with the 6 at the back, but he might do it if they're 1-0 up with 10 minutes to go. But no, he started the game like that because he realized we got to get our foot in the game. Those first 20, 30 minutes are crucial because we know what happens with Spurs. They can, the crowd can turn against them, and they haven't been playing great. And
they booed it. They really booed at full time. The Tottenham
and halftime. I heard the boos.
Yeah, they're not happy. But the thing is, right, when you go to hostile places like Tottenham can be, like Anfield, you have to kill the momentum early. If you play boring football and just get possession, the atmosphere dies, and that happened. And then I know Tottenham ruined the game.
It was so quiet you could hear the minority of Villa fans actually out screaming,
exactly,
supporting all the Spurs ones.
I know it was boring. I know Tottenham grew into the game because it had like deep and stuff we were playing, sort of. But the second half, they were still no atmosphere at all. Like, we just absolutely strangled Tottenham.
And Spurs are a team that like to counter themselves. And, so if you're, on the front foot and leaving gaps in behind, they're going to destroy you. But, that's exactly what we didn't do. We had that line of 6. There was no gaps. The only real chance was that little 1-2 where Kane, it was overhit for him, and Olsen got the ball. But apart from that, they don't have the quality to break that apart.
Like, I know they were missing a couple of players. Like, I get that, but they're still a bloody good side.
But so are we.
I know.
We're missing Martinez. I think that's probably as big of what they are.
Do you know that's only our second away win of the season, our third clean sheet of the season, and we've got what? So we got a clean sheet against Brentford, Leeds, and now Tottenham, and 2 away wins on the road, like in a row.
It.
Like, it's something we can.
The first time since John Gregory in '98, the new manager has won his first 2 away games, and
I don't
think so.
Wow.
So these are things we can build on, things we're doing that we've never seen before.
Tough opposition too. We didn't do it. Brighton are a great side. Like, we've done it against 4
and
four
same
top
thing
sides.
though. I know we gave Brighton the early goal at the first minute, but again, we just strangled them down. We wore them down. And I think we're actually getting, like, the boys look fit and they can pretty much run out the whole game. I don't think what McGinn got, what looked like cramp, hopefully cramp, could have been a hammy, but.
Yeah, it looks like maybe a hammy, but yeah, under Gerrard, I wouldn't have expected many points at all from those 4 games. And, we've got 9 and, we've got a few winnable games coming up, fingers crossed, not getting too far ahead of ourselves, but, Wolves, Derby, full Villa Park, Wednesday night, come on. I think that we could make it, 4 from 5.
We could. And it's the Wolves derby. They think it's a derby. We just kind of play them because we have to, but they think it's a massive derby, but it's just not in it.
It's not the derby. No.
I think it was in the video last season that all the Wolves fans started commenting after they beat us and they try to get a derby out of it, but we just...
One thing, I watched the Wolves game the other night against United, and one thing that I didn't realize until now, and I can't believe I never realized this, was they sing hi ho.
They do
at the start of the game.
They've always done it.
I never realized
Sheffield
that.
Wednesday do it as well. There's a few teams that do it.
I was walking around and I was singing it to myself as I hear it, and then I just went, "Hang on, I'm not watching Villa. This is Wolves."
Yeah, I think Sheffield Wednesday. There's a few teams that do it.
Right.
How good?
Who did it first though?
Oh, I don't know,
Yeah. Okay.
I don't put a hi-ho silver lining.
It's great. It's great. It's always a classic.
Let them have it. Let them have it.
Yeah,
All right. Well, let's talk about the second goal because I thought that was probably
Messi.
the moment of the match for us. It was just a great tackle. I think it was Kamara won the ball back, then gave it to McGinn, who it all opened up in front of him, and Luiz and him did the little 1-2, brilliant play, 2-0, job done.
I think those were McGinn and Luiz a couple months ago were probably two that were being screamed to be dropped, and now all of a sudden, they're starting, they're scoring, they're in career form at the moment. Dougie's looked at a different place since he's actually signed that new contract, even under Jerry. So, what a goal! I mean, just a little bit of Brazilian flair, and love the celebration, and honestly, just that silence their crowd so quick. Could hear a pin drop at one point.
Yep. Yeah, and I saw on a few posts the BBC got in trouble because when that goal went in, they wrote "Oh dear," and all the Villa fans were like, "Why oh dear?" Like, I'm sorry, we didn't realize you were like BBC Tottenham.
Yeah, a little bit.
I didn't say that.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure any other goals that I can think of, but that's going to be one of the most well-worked goals of the season.
Absolutely.
The only one that comes to mind that's similar, like how well we worked, it was the first one against Brentford from the set piece. With actually open play, that pass from McGinn, I know if someone like Fabinho or Trent Alexander-Arnold or Grealish at Man City now, De Bruyne, the pass will be spoken about way more.
I was about to say that, Noah. You're right. If that was Trent, I mean, he does the Panenka or whatever is the outside of the foot. That was a great one. But if they done that, and more the finish from Doug, a CDM, mind you, a 6, it'd be all over the news.
Because it's just not the top 6, not the big 6, whatever you want to say.
Yeah. And considering like 3 months ago, McGinn was kicking those balls out of bounds. Like, they were going nowhere near their target. And this ball, just to see it, I mean, watching the game, I'm like, what is he doing? Oh, yep, there it is. Like, it was.
Because he shaved his head.
Oh man, what a terrible haircut! Get a fade.
It looks bad. It does. He looks like he's getting old.
It's the meatball. That's what
I know. He looks like he's aged about 10 years.
Tommy, can you lift your hat up as well? I just want to see the haircut too.
It's not.
Hey.
This is done every 2 weeks, mate. Mohammed or Yusuf. Anyway, I have a feeling Emery said to the team, if you look at our shots or how many shots we actually don't take, when if it's not a clear shot, it's going to be on target. Don't take it, give it off. I've seen Watkins do it a few times. When Dia gave it off a couple, McGinn again. If that was Jared or anyone else, they'd be pinging them from outside the box. So I think our conversion or on target shot percentage has actually lifted quite a lot. Take effective shots. I do believe Ollie could have taken 1 and 2 first time on his left foot. But again, I just don't think that's in his little repertoire.
I think with Ollie, like hopefully once he does score, then hopefully the floodgates like open up, because like he had that shot where in the first half where he sort of like cut in from the left hand side, went past the defender, took a shot, scuffed it, and went wide. But then like I think today the Villa Facebook group like posted like all the goals of like 2022. It's like a 16-minute video, and like you see some of the goals that he scored in it. It's like that's his part and parcel of like the type of goal that he scores. Like he gets the ball in that left hand side channel, comes inside. He doesn't do any skill or anything. He just out muscles and out powers the defender. And
such a strong unit.
Yeah. So you just
that's where he plays
just hope
best.
that just hope that he scores one and then he can just keep scoring. But then like we said earlier, he's doing his role really good, and he will get scrutiny on the days where we don't win, and he does have chances because if he puts his chances away, we can it's a difference between getting 0 points, 1 point, or even 3 points, right? So hopefully he does score a goal, and then that's it. He can go on a bit of a run. Like you guys said, the next 4 games are pretty winnable, not against tough opposition. So yeah, let's hopefully he can get 4 goals in 4 games or something like that.
That's right. And when you look at the table and look what's ahead of us, those Europa League positions aren't a million miles away.
They're gettable. It's crazy that seeming 5 games ago, we were thinking relegation's a high possibility.
Hey boys, I'm gonna need a drop, but been a pleasure.
All right, well, give you your let's do predictions quickly for Wolves. Give us yours, Tommy, before you shoot off.
3-0 Villa.
3-0 Villa, Aman?
I'll say 2-0 Villa.
I'll say 3-1 Villa.
2-0 Villa, another clean sheet.
Hey, look at that. And
Robin Khan Olsen will keep a clean sheet, mate. Thank you.
Well, it'll be interesting to see who is in between the sticks, but we'll wrap it up there because I feel like shit, and Tommy's got to go. So, but thanks everyone for watching. Please like and subscribe. I hope you all had a happy new year and best of luck and all best wishes for 2023. Thanks for all the support, and we will see you after Wolves on Wednesday. Up the Villa.